personal video. If you are
personal video,
personal videos, you can actually call us up or text or whatever they do now. They email somebody over there and they contact us. Greg, our internet manager, he can take a camera out there, and you ask him what you want pictures of, and he'll take a complete picture of this car. Open the engine, open the trunk. It's a video. I mean, he takes videos of all this, and he email it right back to you. So if you know somebody maybe in Mississippi, a relative, or you know somebody out of the area, and they want to know what that vehicle's worth. Ivan was just giving you the scare about buying a car you can't see. Mm-hmm. Well, here's a perfect way to do this. In this personal video, it can be done within an hour. So if you're out there in cyberspace out there right now, and you're looking at one of the cars we have at Frontier Motors, and before you trek all the way down here, let's say you're in Mobile, before you trek all the way down here, email Greg. He'll go get a personal video. He'll send it to you. Then you can sit there with your wife and say, hey, look at this, dear. Boom, 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 boom. Look at this car. Just look at this Honda Odyssey. I find it's got everything you want. It's got a DVD. It's got... And then you can make that decision to come to Frontier Motors.
I noticed that some people are leery of pictures, Ron, and I have had this happen before because on our website we have 21 detailed photographs of the car. When I say detailed, I'm talking about up-close photographs of every panel, in the trunk, in the engine compartment, every door panel, the instrument panel. And the reason we do this is because if there's any nicks or scratches or anything like that, you should be able to pick it up on our detailed pictures. But I've noticed that customers have called and they don't trust the pictures because they've seen pictures online and they've gone to the car dealerships and the pictures look so much better than the cars. So this video is really a neat tool because that's live. He does it, and the next minute it's sent to you. So there's nothing that's hidden. You can't airbrush a video.
A good example of that.
I don't think you can, at least.
A good example of that. I was talking to Ivan a couple weeks ago. My brother came down here. We were riding around Pensacola. He hadn't been down here in a while. And we went by a car lot, and he said, wow, they got some nice cars. And nothing against this car lot, but this is a car lot that's used to having 110, 120, 130,000-mile cars. So how much can you tell by a picture? So I think this new personal video thing is something that, of course, we have started. I know that they use it across the country. But, again, you have to be attentive to the people coming in, and you got to do it right away, just like you want. If you're sitting at your computer, you really want an answer right away. So give us a try, FrontierMotorsINC.com, or just Google Frontier Motors.
Our appraisal service works pretty good. That if you're going to buy a brand new car, and I always like using Lexus Mobile because we do business with Lexus Mobile. If you're going to buy a brand new Lexus, and try as we might, you don't want our 09 model with 4,000 miles on it, and even though we might be able to save you $5,000 or $6,000, there are people in this world that say no. I'm buying a brand new one. I saved all my money. I've saved all my life. I'm going to buy that first brand new car, and they're going to trot over to Lexus Mobile. But bring us the trade-in. Let us appraise it for you. We had a gentleman that had a used Lexus, and you would think that the number one buyer for a used Lexus would be the Lexus dealership. Guess who ended up with the car? Frontier Motors did. He came to us to appraise the car. We appraised that car for $1,500 more than the Lexus dealership did. So we went over there, and the Lexus dealership said, well, if you don't trade it in, his car was worth, let's say, $30,000, you're going to lose $15,000 in tax credit. Because if you don't trade, you don't get the credit for the taxes. So if he's buying a $50,000 car, you've got to pay taxes on $50,000. If he's got a $30,000 trade-in, you only pay taxes on the balance, which is $20,000. But what we did is we let him trade it at that dealership, and then we bought it right from the dealership. So everybody got the best of both worlds. I got the car that I wanted, and one reason that we paid more money for that car, we actually have a better track record for selling used Lexuses than the Lexus dealership does. And because of our overhead, we don't have a mausoleum, we don't have a $5 million building. We bought our dealership 14 years ago. It was $105,000, and we've expanded a couple times, but every time we did it was $25,000 or $30,000. So our overhead is next to nothing. We're able to sell the car for under market value, offer somebody a deal, and still make money on the car, which a big dealership don't. Some big dealerships, if they don't make $3,000 to $4,000 on an exotic type car, they won't even mess around with it. We can sell it for well less than that and still stay in business.
We do this, and here's a perfect example. There was a Navy retired captain here in Pensacola, done business with us, bought, I think, 2 or 3 cars from us, and his son has bought a car. I think his daughter's bought a car. But he wanted to buy one of these new import diesel SUVs. I won't name the dealership or anything like that. Because, I'll tell you why. Well, he went over there and he was going to trade one of the cars that he bought from us. Well, he went over there and they gave him this much money. Well, he brought it over to us and said, how much would you buy my car for? Well, I hit it about almost $1,000 higher than that import dealer did. So he said, well, I don't want to sell it to you. I want to get the tax credit. I said, well, go over there and here's my card. Here's the piece of paper. Shows how much I'll buy it for. So over they went. Never seen the vehicle. So what that did is they actually kept that vehicle. But it forced that dealership to give that gentleman a $1,000 better deal. So, just by checking with us before you go trade your car in, could save you as much as $1,000. I did another one, same dealership, had a Honda hybrid. $800 difference. I gave him $800 more. He said, I'm going to make sure they give it to you. 2 weeks later, still haven't seen it. So, again, he got an $800 better deal. So you might just want to check with us. And if you don't want to trade it in, we buy cars. And let's say you just want to go buy a nice Highline import from a dealer around the corner. If you just want to sell the car on consignment, bring it to us and we'll do that. We do a lot of consignments. We probably have about 30 consignments, and we do very well. We sold 5 this week, 5 consignments. And you know what? They got 1,000, 1,500 more than they would have got when they traded in, and they didn't have the hassle of people knocking on their door, waiting for somebody, like you always say, Ivan, wait for somebody to buy the car on Saturday, go to the credit union on Monday and get turned down and never show back up again. So if you want to sell your car on consignment, bring it by Frontier Motors or call one of the great salespeople and they can give you some of the details, and then bring it by and let Ivan and I or our sales manager, Keisha, look at it, and we'll give you some values on it.
Especially important for those military people out there. We really love to help the military. Ron and I were never in the military. We were lucky enough not to have to go. And for the young people right now that are in the military, especially the ones that are getting deployed and transferred, sometimes you only have a couple days notice. So if you don't want that car sitting in the garage, bring it to us. We can do a consignment even if it gets shipped out. And most people have relatives in the area where as soon as that car gets sold, we'll mail the check out. So there's a little bit of a trust factor involved in there. But with military, we've been doing that for 14 years. And I remember one gentleman got transferred to Seattle, Ron, and we sold his car. It took us about 2.5 weeks to sell the car. He even had a payoff on the vehicle. We made one check out to the payoff company, to the bank. We made the other check out to him, send it there, and he sent us a nice little letter thanking him for helping him out.
I got a guy that's in Beijing, China. Left
Beijing?
his car.
You can't even say
Beijing.
it.
I can't even say that. Did I say that right? Is it what?
Beijing. Is it, Don, how do you say
if
it,
you're
Don?
from the South, it's Beijing.
Beijing.
Oh, no.
Beijing.
Beijing, China, right.
How would you say if you're from China? Beijing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you're going to get in trouble on that
Chinese,
one.
the
There,
comedian's going to be calling up Frontier Motors.
he works for Hewlett Packard, and he went to China, and he had a real nice GT Mustang. He was going over there for a 2-year contract. He left me a deposit slip for his bank. When we sold his car, boom, I gave the deposit slip, gave it to Shauna, our runner that runs around, puts everything in the mail and puts everything in the bank. And I emailed him, your car is sold, your money's in the bank. And he could not believe it. And he knew that when he left here. He's from Pensacola. This is where he retired, and he got a big contract over there for 2 years. So he had to go out of retirement. But he trusted us, and that's what Ivan saw about. It's just not military trust. It's anybody that has to leave the area. You need to put your car on consignment. You need a little bit more money on it than just trying to give it away. You know, we've seen some military people just, I got to sell it. Don't let somebody take advantage of you. Bring it by Frontier Motors, and we'll be glad to help.
2 days ago, I bought an 03 Mercedes ML 500. Gentleman bought it brand new. Says, why are you selling the car? He says, I'm living on my boat.
Where was he at?
His boat's in Singapore,
okay,
and he flies back. He flies back once a year, and he says, for that 1 month that I'm here in Pensacola, it's not worth having the car in the garage. So he brought it to me. I wrote him a check. He's going to the airport, flying back to Singapore. So we can buy cars, and he was surprised because he said, well, I got a week to sell. It doesn't give me a lot of time. So he brought it to us. I wrote him a check for it, and I got a beautiful one-owner ML 500 on the lot that is actually all books and records and everything. And that's one of the things that we'll tell you at Frontier Motors, the background history of the car. If we got a car that's a 1-year-old car with 3,000 miles on it, we'll tell you why that is. If we got a car like this particular gentleman, an 03 with 100,000 miles on it, we're going to give you all books and records so you can make an informed decision to see if it's a good car or not, if it's not a good car. We always urge a customer to get the car inspected because the car dealership is only representing what they know. So if the customer brings a car to me, tells me it's a good car, I'm going to tell you a good car. Don't take a dealer's word for it. Get the car inspected if it's a used car. If the car's under warranty, the only thing you really want to worry about is make sure that there's no issues like flood damage or anything like that.
Do business where business is being done, and that's what's happening with Frontier Motors. You know, when people